Here we go. So we ended up last week with the beginnings of a new marketing funnel. And then I sent over a sort of a picture of a funnel, which became two funnels. I wanted to, and we are working this week off of this idea bank Word document that I sent via email. I'm going to add it in the chat. I see that a lot of you are already in there, but in case you're not, this is kind of I started with background info of where we started, and then here's where we're going to actually type our ads. And I saw that you started with that as well, so thank you. And then, Kevin, when you were talking, I just was adding some ET Water notes there at the very bottom.
Okay.
But do we want to, is this funnel 100% clear to everyone? Do we want to discuss it at all today before we dive into the ads? How's everybody feeling on that?
So what you want to do, Lauren, is look at what the four ad concepts that are here at the bottom of the page are now.
We could do that. I just wanted to make sure that everybody understands, and if you want, you can take this this picture and actually, you want me to share my screen so it's a little bit bigger?
That'd be great.
Okay.
Please.
So here we go. I just want to make sure it's very clear what we're doing while we're writing these ads, just in case anybody felt, like something wasn't 100% clear. So can you see my screen okay?
Yeah, that's great.
Okay. So, there we go. So here we go. Based on our call yesterday, we ended up with stage one. We were going to make people aware of soil, like of the satellite imagery, and tell them about the benefits of everything. And we're going to send them to that blog post that we talked about last week about AgriLogics and the satellite imagery and all of that. And we were going to add a call to action in there where people can add their email address. Or alternatively, we talked about making a landing page that's specifically about AgriLogics, talks about the benefits of it, and the goal here in this stage one, which we'll give to 3 different audiences we'll test. One is a blanket audience of all U.S. farmers. Another is a farmers with interest in, and that would be like technology, other competitors, that kind of thing. And then the third was if we wanted to come up with another audience. And then we want to make sure we're excluding all the current customers who we might be, who already know about this, or we don't need to market to them. And once we get them to act on these particular ads, we move them to the middle of funnel. And we continue to strengthen, we know that they're aligned with our beliefs because they're engaged, but we're going to continue to strengthen them, strengthen the relationship, and show them more ads. That is basically, here's how you should choose your acres. Here's how it will pay off when you are monitoring your crops and all of that. And then again, we're asking them to fill out give us their email address and because in this case they haven't already given it to us. And then once they do that, we move them and we collect their payment, and we start stage 2 of setting them up with their account. And this is the thing where Alan was talking about, we need to get their Google Map image and all of that.
Right, so I have a question here. We're calling this the awareness to paid AgriLogics customer. So this isn't really for our current customers. This is for potential.
Yeah. And we're taking them from awareness to a paid customer.
Right, okay.
Yeah, and
Okay.
we're offering there that $1 per month per acre deal in
Right.
this stage for the first 30 days. And then bottom of funnel is, hey, you haven't finished your subscription, and just one more step and we'll send you that weekly email. Here's how great that email is. And we're going to start to show them the inefficiencies that we have exposed previously in other customers through our offerings.
Right. This will be the proof.
Yep. And more testimonials. I'm doing this and I love it. And so we want to get those people that last mile. Is that clear so far? Are we all on the same page there?
Yeah, absolutely. So
Cool.
that's number one. That's really top of funnel though, right?
What's interesting here is we discovered that AgriLogics is actually a leader to JaneLogic and to all
Right.
of these, to selling the hard goods. So what we ended up doing is now we're splitting it into two funnels. And here's where this side here comes in.
Ah, right. Okay, I got it. Yeah.
So once
Yeah,
they're
that's really good. Yeah.
So once they're an AgriLogics paid customer, we want them to say, hey, there's so much more. Your world is just starting to open up. And then we move them into this funnel where we start selling JaneLogic and hard goods. So we have two audiences here because we wanted to hit this goal by the end of January to start to build awareness. And this funnel here, this stage 1, 2, 3 funnel, is pretty complicated to build out. It's pretty advanced. So we're going to build this in the background while we launch this part of stage 1 marketing funnel number 2. And in this case, we're going to target audiences who we know they have enough acreage to be a big customer for us. And they have the behaviors of a good customer. And we're going to just hit them right away with these awareness campaigns. And we're going to make them aware of the benefits and solutions that we offer with hard goods, JaneLogic, that kind of thing. And so that's what we're going to try to launch, or what we're going to launch this week. And
Okay, I have a question.
Yeah.
So one side of this is exciting to me, and one I'm a little worried about. So
Okay.
for paid AgriLogic customers right now, I think we have 10.
Oh, okay.
Okay, so that's the part I'm worried about. We're really going to be doing a marketing program to 10 people. But I like this idea of, as we get more signing up for the free and talking about, and they'll turn into better customers, but maybe AgriLogics has a list of customers we could promote to. And we're always introducing AgriLogics to our customers. This would be the reciprocal. And that's where I'm excited about this. But just know we only have, 10 AgriLogics customers today.
Okay. And so you said maybe we could also target to their customers. What do you mean? Like, you only have 10 AgriLogics and there's more?
Yeah, so AgriLogics is another company, and we're promoting their product to our customers. Now, I don't think they have a lot of customers either, otherwise they wouldn't need us. But
Yeah, I guess the goal you're asking, Richard, is if they can, if we can, whatever AgriLogic's existing or customer base is, if it's 100 or 1,000, can we upsell, cross-sell JaneLogics to them today?
right. So we might do this, right? I'm just saying, marketing funnel number 2, we may spend time on this, and it may be just to our 10 customers right now. We won't really be able to say this works or doesn't work.
Right. Yeah.
Until and maybe AgriLogics says yes, and then we have a bigger opportunity.
Which is why I thought if we went with broader strokes on something we know we have 5,000 Jane customers on, then we're going to get better metrics, throw a wider net. While this is a great campaign, and this is great, Lauren, I just think, like you said, it's such a tight like group of people we're going after with such a precise marketing campaign for the first time. If we just go after all our Jane customers, we'll learn a lot about our next campaign, right? Does that make sense?
Yeah, but so that's why I think marketing funnel number one is getting people to sign up for AgriLogics is really key.
Okay.
Well, it's a good awareness builder, right? I mean, it's.
Yeah, definitely. Okay, so should we focus on stage 1 of this then instead?
Yeah, I think so. I mean, Jeff and the AgriLogics team want to go forward with this. We have their buy-in. They're somewhat waiting for this.
Okay, great. Then let's do that. Okay. So we have some catch up to do in terms of the landing page, but we can send people to the article and we can measure lift there. So should we go ahead and set up a campaign today?
I think that'd be great.
Okay, great. So any questions so far? Are we all good?
I had a comment to make. So the audience for AgriLogics would be, under blanket audience, it would be all California farmers. Since Richard, I think AgriLogics does not work outside of California, right?
Right. So, well, we don't have the license for it right now. So yeah, it'll be all California.
Okay, yeah. And do you have that AgriLogics list of all customers everywhere? Like that aren't yours? You don't? Do you think you could get it?
I will ask.
Okay.
And only in the Fresno Valley too, Lauren.
Okay.
And only on Tuesdays and Thursdays do they want to use it.
Okay, so we should do Fresno Valley farmers.
I mean, we won't want to get everybody in California, but obviously the agricultural valley up there is where the majority of their customers and any potential crossover customers are going to be. There's not a lot of people down in Southern California using it, but what, Rich, we probably want to cross over a little bit on the awareness because the rich guys might live down here and own property up there, so
yeah,
we don't want to.
I'm really okay with all California on this.
Yeah.
Okay. If it's something that you're interested in doing, we could do a test of all California excluding Central Valley and Central Valley.
Yeah. Lauren, when I'm on Facebook, it doesn't ask me if I'm a farmer in Fresno. How does it break up the different customers that we're trying to appeal to? I know geographically or zip code wise, we can target them. Yeah. So what is our filter? What are our options? Maybe if we know our options and we, right-handed people, left-handed people, what are some of these cells that we need to fill? That'll probably help me visually.
If after this call, if you have some time, everybody should look at the Washington Post article about Facebook yesterday. And they'll show you where to look on Facebook to see what is being reported to Facebook, even if you don't have Facebook open. But I noticed, Alan, that our Jane website sends all the information to Facebook of who's been here.
Oh yeah.
It's really quite eye-opening, all this data that Facebook is collecting about us.
Like you can see this page, we collect all the blog audiences who are logged in into Facebook and all store audiences who are logged in into Facebook for the last 180 days.
Yeah, we can market to everybody who visits NetFM that lives in California.
Yeah.
Yeah. It's crazy what is being collected on us.
Yes.
Okay. So does that categorize them by knowing their search history, or do we literally have to say NetFM customers, other customers? Like, how do we break that down?
So we have a couple different options. So we can do a lookalike audience, which would be, hey, we believe that everyone who looks like, or who is a NetFM customer would possibly be, so it's from a list that you have. I guess you might not have their list, but you could do a lookalike of the AgriLogic customers. So you would upload all of your basically people from any list that you have. So Jane Irrigation mailing list, if you bought a email list, anything like that could go there. Or if you don't already have that information, you can do a audience based on Facebook tracks us basically everywhere. So it says, so I'm creating a saved audience instead of a lookalike audience. So this targets these people who we are going to check, who we're going to target or specify. So instead of US, we want to say California, and we can just toggle it to living in, recently in, traveling. I'm gonna relegate it to living in, right? Not just traveling, or
Right.
living in and traveling. And then, do you care about age
Not too much.
and gender? All right. And language, I would say it. So sometimes if you say English only, the cost per click or the cost will increase. And you can sort of assume that everybody generally speaks English. So unless that's really important to you, I would leave it. How do you feel about that?
Yeah, I'm good.
Good? Okay. And now we get to the part, Michael, I think we're finally answering your question. We can play with the targeting here. So interests, this is where, and this takes a little bit of time, but you can sometimes basically approximate people based on their interests or their job titles. So we know if there are 72 million people in California who are interested in farming, or so I'm just gonna, go ahead. Oh, sorry.
Right, no, that makes sense to me. So what we'll do is we'll create an audience, like I see in the background there. And once we've created the audience, then we won't have to do this every time. We'll just check the boxes, and that's what we would apply the ad campaign to.
Yes, yeah. And you probably know better than me. So actually, it's NetFM like that, right?
Yep.
So usually if there aren't enough people in the group, that are know it or whatever, it might not show up. But we can think about things like, and this is where you just kind of play, interest in irrigation, drip irrigation, that kind of thing. Holler if you want. We'll make this a real audience.
The size, is that population, or is that the amount of ads and stories already on there?
It's the number of people. Yeah, population.
That have clicked with something relevant under that category, I guess?
Yeah, it says people who have expressed an interest in or like pages related to irrigation.
Yeah, or
Right, and then the ads that they're clicking on are tagged irrigation already. I'm just trying to figure out where these metrics, how these metrics are born, because does irrigation as a name have to be in it? I know we're always naming for metadata and tagging. Is it pulling literally the verbiage of irrigation, topics on irrigation, people that are including into the metadata for the ad? You know what I mean? I don't want to get too deep, but I just want to know so I know who I'm pitching to.
Yeah, for sure. So actually, it's irrigation related pages on Facebook or ads on Facebook. It can also be, because Facebook, if you're logged into Facebook, they're tracking what you do online. So it can also be you're looking at you're looking at irrigation related articles or stores, that kind of thing.
Okay.
So Monica, what's that one group, My Job Depends on Ag?
Yes. My
Is that
job.
a website? Is that a,
That's the Facebook group, and it's pretty huge in the Central Valley.
It looks like it's too small. Agriculture?
Agriculture, maybe.
Monica, isn't someone put that on? That's, Richard, I think that's a slogan of like an agricultural group up there. I don't think that's just their slogan, so we could probably search for who created it.
His name is Steve Malanca. STEVEMALANCA.
yeah, and it is a website.
Unfortunately, it's not enough people, I guess. And then just so you know, as we're doing this brainstorming, so let's just say we decide to add agriculture. So this detailed targeting, that means we're including anyone in California 18 to 65, all genders, who are interested in farming or agriculture or whatever we add. So when we add these items, the audience gets bigger. So right now, it estimates that on Facebook, our potential reach would be 4,300,000 people. But if you wanted to exclude people, you might say, and we're going to delete this right away, but I just want to show that the audience side will change. So let's say we only want people with master's degrees. We're then saying, okay, only farmers or only people who are interested in farming and agriculture who have a master's degree. And that went down. This number here is rough. It's never exact. It's like, you don't always trust it. It's just a good indicator. But that's just sort of how these work if you want to, or no, that would be excluding those people with master's degrees. So you would only be targeting people with high school or college or whatever. And then narrowing also must match master's degree. So this one should really narrow
Should
it
make
down.
it really small.
Yeah, now we're only talking 160,000. Sorry about that. But so just so you know, we have that, we can pull those levers, and that's what happens to the audience size. We want to get this, with such a broad awareness campaign, ideally we want this to be 800,000-ish people. It could be more, it could be less. That's just a rule of, like if you're just doing awareness, I would search for it. But again, I've done like 50 million, that kind of thing.
You said you want the population higher, lower, or you want it lower?
Lower would be awesome. I would say, for this kind of thing,
Yeah.
around 800,000 would be pretty
So
nice.
what I think is probably the variable that I'm saying is probably the age. There's probably not a lot of 18-year-old farmers and 65-year-old farmers. The hotspot is probably more like 22 to 55. But like Richard said, let's shoot for the stars and see if we can get some people straight out of Cal Poly maybe on it. But I think that's probably what's keeping it that. There's probably, that'll probably get your number down.
Yeah, 55.
I mean, that didn't move it at all.
Yeah. Yeah, that's interesting because the average age of a farmer in the U.S. right now is 64 years old.
Really?
Yeah, it's really old.
Wow.
But that's not California. California, everybody retires at 51. So we need to see if I tighten it in. But for right now, for what we're doing, let's just 18 to 65. But if you're trying to get that number lower, that's the only thing I can think of that I see on there. I mean, without excluding gender.
Well, we're saying all agriculture. We really want to narrow this down more to irrigation.
Right, exactly.
So that would, and then precision irrigation would make it even, tighter.
Or
So-
drip irrigation, it looked like it was a broader thing.
Yeah, so
There's your 791.
Okay.
And then, okay, so here we go.
So you put precision agriculture, not precision irrigation. I don't know if that was a choice to have precision irrigation or not.
I don't think precision irrigation is available.
Yeah. What about drip irrigation?
Yeah, I think I saw that there. And this is the
field monitoring and control.
Yeah, these are topics that the industry is trying to push on this population, but I don't know that it's like, what do you think the minimum is, Lauren, before it even shows up on here? Like that one says 13,000, so some of these don't even have 10,000 people searching for the topics, right?
Yeah, I've heard it's around 10K, but it definitely varies. But here we have 12,000 people, 12,911 who have farming in their job title, which is interesting.
In their Facebook profile, interesting.
Yeah. Sustainable agriculture?
Yeah, that would be good too.
Okay. Farm owner operator, 10,000.
Yeah.
So do we want to? I'm trying to think. Oh, go ahead.
So, Lauren, the reason I'm focusing so much on the audience is because, obviously to produce the material to appeal to them, I need to know who we're trying to appeal to.
Yeah.
And so we can go backwards and we can build an ad and then hope it sticks. But I think if we're targeting the right audience, we're going to get way more precise numbers.
Definitely.
And it's going to help us out so much instead of just shooting for 10,000 and being excited that 2,000 people looked at it.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Yeah. So if you feel like here any of these are too broad, or if you want to narrow or exclude, definitely let me know there.
So I really thought that we were going to use have Facebook build a duplicate audience off of some email addresses we gave them.
So we can do that. Yeah, you want to do that as well today? So the
I think that would be great.
Yeah. So the idea is what we're going to do. We do something called rapid fire testing, where we want to test 3 different audiences, and we want to see which of those audiences resonates best with your ads. For this top of funnel, there's really an opportunity to test and kind of see. I think one, it would be this audience, and then the other would be the list, a lookalike of the list.
Right. I think we're going to be a lot better off doing it that way than trying to figure it out.
Yeah. Okay. All right. Should I save this? And do you have a list accessible somewhere that we can use?
I can develop one here really quickly.
Okay. Or I can do that after the session if we want. So.
Monica, you should look at the Agri Valley list and. Or Alan, you have the list of JaneLogic customers, right?
Yes, I do. It's on MailChimp. We can also import it straight to Facebook from there. I had one recommendation for this audience. I think we should add almond, pistachio, all these cash crops, crash crop growers to this list. Or like almond growers, the ones who grow grapes. Like these are the ones who will spend money to write on AgriLogic.
Right. So.
Or we could narrow the audience based on these 4 or 5 crops. But that would reduce the list.
Yeah.
Like just almond. And and then just pistachios. Can you put an ad? I mean,
Yeah,
you
can
don't
we
need
try
to
and wine grapes?
and wine grapes, yes.
So now we're at 220. Oh, should I say just grapes, maybe?
Yeah. That's weird.
Probably like vineyard or something.
Yeah, but you try it.
Tom.
Oh, did I spell vin?
Yeah, there's an E in there.
DINE, yeah.
Oh, yep.
Richard, like you were saying, if we pull it off of the emails that we already have, so we have email addresses. How does Facebook connect that? Is that their login email address, or does it send them an email that says we have a Facebook ad? Like, how do we make the connection between our our email and their Facebook usage? Like, where does it tie in to the ad?
All right, so if I know your email address and I'm on Facebook and you have an account, I know everything I need to know about you now, right?
Okay, so you tell Facebook that we have these people's contacts and it just syncs up on the back end to their accounts to show them ads?
We say, here's 20 people, and we want to market to people that look like these 20, not just look like them, but shop on the websites they go to, read the articles they read. We want to duplicate this audience as big as we can in the geography of California. And then Facebook will start dropping ads on those people's timelines. And when they click them, that's when we get charged.
Okay, right. So it's their login. For instance, I have a Gmail account and a Jane account. So if we email, all our Horizon distributors, I'm just wondering if it's going to their work, because what if they're not using their work to send it to their Facebook? You see what I'm saying? Because like Facebook doesn't know that I have a Jane USA account, but you do, and that's where the email is going to go.
I think you're playing big data on probability.
Yeah. And I think you're also focusing on the email address. The email address is just how we find out who the person is.
And yeah, so
Yeah, but how does Facebook know who the person is?
Because they have a Facebook account.
yeah, so
Okay.
Facebook has right now their match rate is just above 70%. So if you dump in emails, and this is like kind of the average that they've been seeing. And then also Alan is gonna, I think, upload this, and I'm happy to do it if you want with you, for lookalike audiences. This is where we'll dump all of these emails, and then we'll select a location. And just so you know, Alan, right now 2 and 3% lookalike is what we're hearing works the best. And the wider you go, the more variation there is from the audience, and the tighter you keep it, the closer it is to the audience.
Sure. Good to know.
Cool. Yeah, great.
Thank you.
So we have that first in audience, and it's just above 1 million people. So I think that's worth trying, and the lookalike, and we'll test those two audiences and see how they're performing. We're going to give them both the same ads. We can customize a little bit for crop if we want, but to give it the truest test of which audience works better, we would just create the same campaign, and one for the Facebook lookalike and another for this almond, grape, pistachio group. So should we go ahead and move over to the ads now?
Yeah, that'd be great.
Great. Okay. So I'm in the ads manager now, and the idea today is that we're just going to create this first campaign. So I just go to create, and for the beginning, so Facebook's algorithm rewards engagement. So if you have an ad that you're showing and it already has people who like it, or that kind of thing, then you're going to see a higher return in the future. The post engagement is sort of how we start the campaign, so that then Facebook, the cost per click, the cost per everything goes down, and then after that we will drive it to a conversion campaign where we're really looking to grab those leads, and we'll move it to a conversion campaign. And so do we know about how much we want to spend on this?
Yeah, this one will do 25 a day.
Okay, yeah. And so this campaign is going to have both of those audiences. So what this means here is that we're going to spend 25 across both. And our bid strategy is just lowest cost, and we're going to run ads all the time. In the future, it can be, sorry about the siren there, Kevin, I'm sure you're familiar with that. I'll pause for a second while it goes by. Oh.
Yeah, we can actually hear you just fine. We don't hear
okay.
the siren.
Okay, great. So ad scheduling, this becomes relevant, I think, in the future when you get more nitty gritty, but right now I think it's okay to run all the time, unless you disagree. But like if you're running like a business SaaS product where people are only buying when you're in the office, you can set it to run, between 9 a.m. and 5 p.m. on the weekdays. And we keep this delivery type at the beginning, just as is. So I just clicked next, and we can use our saved audience that we just made with farming and irrigation, and it estimates here that we're going to reach 2.3 to 6.8K and get about 225 to 650 engagements. And because at the beginning we're just testing these audiences, we run it as automatic placements, and then if we notice that, and that means Facebook decides where these ads are placed. And what we can do is monitor, we see that all the placements in Instagram, for example, aren't performing. So we might turn off Instagram later. But we're going to control that and let Facebook do its thing, lean into that algorithm in the beginning. And then run ad set continuously because we're going to watch it. That just means, until we say something differently, it's going to spend $25 a day. So then we're going to create this first ad. So I'm going to jump back into this idea bank that we created, and maybe we can use some of that. Does that sound good?
Sure. So this is going to be our first awareness ad, right?
Yep. So we're right here in this top of funnel. We're making people aware, and the biggest thing here is, I think that it's so easy to just assume that we can push our product onto people, but we have to remember, it's always hard for me that the Facebook people, they're on Facebook to search Facebook, so we have to have a really compelling offer to get them to stop looking, for their friends and instead engage with us. Cool. So ad concepts. I'm just gonna look at these. I didn't see these earlier today, so this is my first look here.
Those aren't going to be relevant to the what we're working with. Those are mine from last week.
Oh yeah, okay. All right, this looks familiar now. Okay. So would you
I
say
think
that?
Alan had the diligence on that.
Yeah.
I think these are Alan's that I think haven't been completed yet, right?
Yeah. So Alan, do you remember the name of that? Let's see. You're seeing now my my messy computer.
Funnel.
Funnels?
Yes.
Ah, here we go. Cool. Thank you. All right. So, we have this ad here. Watch your agricultural profits grow with satellite imaging. Satellite imaging makes this process quick and straightforward to free up your time for the many critical issues you face daily during the growing season. Let's see. Oh, and also, so the idea here is we're going to create 3 to 5 ads. And so we can switch out imagery, we can make them all drastically different, or we can make them similar with some variations. It doesn't really matter so much at this point. So, should we run with this? Does anybody have any?
Well, I think we'll learn. I think that's
Definitely, yeah. Okay, great. So, that first part is that primary text, and we're going to see this preview there on the right. And I'm just going to go ahead and copy pasting this in.
I think it should be can instead of could.
Oh.
Yeah.
And I'm going to take a screenshot, or actually, let's see. I'm trying to think of the best way to get this image. Oh, sorry, wrong one. That's a shoppable video, not relevant. There we go. So, I'm going to crop this to make sure that it fits both the square, or, we're saying that it can be cropped, because at this point, it doesn't really affect the ad, like the way that it is. So that's what it will look like. And here we go. So in this conversion phase, or in this engagement phase, we actually don't have this bottom part. But when we move to, and I didn't do a great job of explaining this, but when we move to the conversion, actually I'll show that now. What's going to happen is it's going to give us the option to add, but we're going to be able to copy that ad so that we get that existing engagement on there without losing it. But I'm going to create this version of the ad as well so that we have the whole thing. So 25. And yeah, I don't know if that made sense. So we set our conversion, and the goal is to have it be at something that can happen at least 50 times a week. And what that does for us is it allows Facebook's algorithm to get better every week. So if it's really hard to get people to add to cart, then you add it, you create a goal, a conversion goal that is easier to accomplish like, for example, stay on the site for 2 minutes, or scroll to this part of the page. Does that make sense?
I did,
Yeah. Okay.
but it's okay. It's okay.
So yeah, we want to.
I think basically what you're saying is if we let Facebook see who is converting, then it's easier for them to figure out who's sending the ads to.
Yeah. Yeah.
And then I just added a couple photos to our Google Doc, Lauren.
Okay.
Alan, I don't know how upset you were on that image. It's not a satellite image, you know. It looks like maybe it was just a stock image. So I just put two into the Google thing. I don't know if you want to let Richard and Kevin see that. That's what the actual satellite imagery looks like. You know, so I don't know if that's the screen grab, the image you want to use instead of just an aerial photo. But now you have it. It's not in that one. It's in the far left tab you have over the Idea Bank.
Ah, okay, great.
Those ones. So that's typically what the images look like. They're not as appealing, but you know, for this subject matter, maybe we probably want to find something a little more realistic to grab people's attention. So when they see satellite imaging, they don't see a plane photo. But I don't know if I get too specific. But this is those you have them now.
Yeah, I mean that's one thing that we could test. What happens?
Yeah, we're going to try one of each. That's part of the fun here, right?
Let's see.
The image folks really go aha when they see the satellite.
So
we got to remember, this isn't broad strokes, right? This is going after that audience base that we've laid out. So these are professionals that know this stuff. So we don't want to lose them with our inaccuracies of, you know, image portraying right off the bat.
Gotcha.
Let's see here. Oh. Sorry, I just want to make sure I get all this copied over. Headline, primary text. Ah, here we go. There it is. Okay. And then the URL for that blog post is here. Sorry, we're getting close. Just waiting for it to load here. All right. And is it cool to have the Jane's USA, or do you want to change it a little bit?
I like the Jane's USA there.
Great. And then learn more as our call to action. Is that great?
Yep.
Okay. And then, so what I'm doing here is I'm building a URL parameter. This is basically when you click on an ad. So when I click on irrigation products and, wow, this is like the only, when I click on an ad here, sorry. Well, you know, when you click on an ad, you get these these things at the end of the URL, and that's how they're identifying you. And in analytics, you can use those at the end of the URL to identify that the traffic came from a specific group of people. So yeah, I'll fix this a little bit later, but the campaign name is, and this just populates it with the information. Oh, that's site name.
So, hey, Alan, are you familiar with what's happening? Have you already done this before?
Yeah, not on Facebook, but on MailChimp. So this way, we can track it on Google Analytics as well, to see source of the traffic was from this particular campaign. So that's good to do that. We do that on MailChimp currently, so that
great.
we know campaign they arrive on the website from Google Analytics.
Okay, this is a little familiar to you since you're going to be the one setting these up. You already have a little bit of an idea.
Sure.
So to be clear, the objective out of this awareness campaign is we're not capturing any information at this stage. This is top of funnel. We're just tracking to see how successful this was in click-throughs for more information on the learn more. Is that correct?
Yeah, so we can have it just be for the click-throughs, or we can measure, what happens after the click-through. So how many people stay on for a minute plus, or we can decide our goal is how many people enter their email address. I expect the email address entering to be rather low because they're going to go and they're going to read an article.
But it'll be the group that comes to the article to read it will be the next group that we email, here's your free offer.
Yeah, or that we retarget in the ads. Hey, it might be you read this blog post for more than a minute, so we're going to give you this free offer.
Right, because we're not going to have, they're not at any time volunteering their email, so we can only track them to the extent that they've, that Facebook is capturing that they, and Facebook is capturing and charging us that they click through to the website to read the article. Is that right, Lauren?
Yeah, I think yeah.
Yeah, that's how they move to middle of the funnel.
Right, yeah.
So then you design campaign number 2, middle of funnel, that to get a 7-day free report, and then you would use your criteria. Those who visited the page with the AgriLogics article, is that what you would do, or how are you remarketing to those visitors?
So I would actually do not just those who visited, but those who stayed on the article long enough to read it.
Okay.
So we know that they were interested. And the idea here is that, we have different types of content, like videos or webinars or that kind of thing, to see what people's hooks are. But this is, in theory, our first ad. So you can review it and see that, we didn't name that campaign, so it would be top of funnel.
AgriLogics.
Sorry, my keyboard is.
So our next call, Lauren, you would walk us through the performance of this.
So I think actually we should create a few more. I'll do that maybe with Alan, if you're willing to jump in with me and create that new audience and that kind of thing. We'll create these next ads, and then we'll look at performance.
Yeah, Alan, do you have time to do that right now?
Right now? During the call or?
We'll drop off the call and you and Lauren can work one-on-one.
For sure. Yeah.
Great. Okay. And then I'm adding an ad set name, and then we'll get this cleaned up, and then we'll launch it.
Yeah, and then you'll do the duplicates with the current customer list, and you'll change that one photo.
Great. Yeah.
That's awesome. If we can get that far, I'll be really happy.
Okay. Great.
Okay. Thank you, everybody, and Lauren, we'll see you next week.
Great. Thanks for your time today, and I'll talk to you soon.
Thank you very much, Lauren.
Yeah, thank you.
Bye now.
All right, bye. Oh.